Hello everyone, good morning, welcome back to Gwent, the Witcher card game. My name is Rooster and I made a promise, I think. I would play something other than the usual Skellige deck I've been playing for quite a while now. It's basically been the default deck where to which I've always gone back whenever I felt like just playing a few games. Just doing my my daily ore collection, and after experimenting a little bit with a monster deck, I encountered this fabulous booster over here, which there's an excellent. This is an excellent example of why this is a good system, by the way. Because I opened a caretaker right here. I've been tempted with the Zoltan Animal Tamer, but let's go and take the caretaker here. This is an excellent system, by the way, because you can just exit the game and then search some forums, ask people which card you should take, because that's actually a quite a relevant decision, which should not be underestimated. So let's go into the deck builder, take a look at the deck I've been playing today. I've won 9 games with it. I've probably lost more, but we'll go and have a look. I've been experimenting a little bit with a deck that looks like this, and let's go and have a look, see where we can add this caretaker in. We'll have to remove another gold card, and I think I will remove Triss here, even though I'm not enamored with the thought of removing one of my few removal options in this deck. I don't own any what's it called? Wyverns, I think. Maybe remove something else. We could remove the Elzer's Thunder and get I don't know. Let's just remove Geralt for now. And go with the caretaker. I'm not entirely certain about that decision, but this should definitely improve our Skellige matchup at the very least. We can do some cute stuff with this. This is a very good card, so I'm excited to try it out, and let's see how it goes. The idea of the deck is well, mostly to play some big stuff, to avoid all of the small monsters that monsters are generally known to play around with, because that tends to feel bad with the monster passive, which, in case you didn't know, at the end of each round you get to keep.
Lazy mingers, you'll sleep when you're dead.
You shall die, worm.
Can I speak for a moment? Thank you. So I was thinking, we're up against Skellige, so let's see if we can find our caretaker friend. This is another legendary that I've been wanting to try out. It's not the best card, certainly, and this is probably not the right shell for it either, but I've had some good experiences with it. So we're up against Harald. That is dangerous. He has a very, very dangerous leader ability right now. What should we remove here? I don't like the first light all that much. I don't like the rain either. And there's the caretaker, so we should be able to get some value out of that one. Alright, that's exciting. We're starting out. I'm never too sad about starting out with a Fiend, so let's go with that for now. And see what we're up against. Alright, there's Geralt. Hello. We should probably get these Wild Hunt Riders out on the field, because we definitely don't want to top deck one of those in between rounds. So let's just go with this, hope we don't get lacerated here, because that would be unfortunate, and indeed that is what just happened. I'm enjoying my coffee here, so give me a few moments every once in a while. I should avoid my arrow keys, because they're making a lot of noise as of late. I don't know why. It's a bad habit. I think we can go with Eredin here. We do want to stay ahead, and especially not give Skellige the advantage of winning the first round. That would be most unfortunate. So that is the reason why Fog is not Fog, Rain. Why Rain is not that effective against Skellige, because they are known to have some weather immune units. The same applies for Fog, but we're not running Fog in this deck, so that's okay. What are we going with? I'm thinking Triss, because the other options aren't terribly exciting. We could just go for the Commander's Horn, but that's a bit greedy, I feel. So let's go with Triss here. Shoot the Longship, I don't think it matters too much. Let's just shoot Geralt, because the Longship might get buffed. We might be able to Scorch it next round or something. Well, of course it's not staying around on the board, unlike our cards. Okay, so I'm certainly glad I didn't Commander's Horn here yet. Still a little bit behind in card value right now. What do we do? It's a good question. I'm thinking just Elzar's Thunder, because it's not getting any better against this opponent, I think. And I don't want to place too many minions at once on the board, because his faction, his leader ability, I should probably explain. It was changed in the last patch to now remove 3 strength from all weakened opposing units, so any unit that's damaged on my side of the board, and 2 strength from all other opposing units, including gold units. So that's actually quite strong. Setting the Longship to 1 would have also allowed me to ping it with the Wild Hunt Warrior, so it's probably correct for our opponent to remove that. Let's take a quick look at his graveyard. Is there anything important in that? No. The fact that we're looking at his graveyard might clue him in on our intentions, but that is just the way it is. We can move something with the Drowner to the Siege Row, which is not too exciting right now. I think we're just committing this this Wild Hunt Warrior. Or we could give up on the first round and play Avalach, but not the biggest fan here. Let's just ping the Longship for 1 more and then see how that goes. The plan being to Commander's Horn the melee row next turn, and then we'll see what we can keep around until the next round. A bit of a curious deck for our opponent here. He's probably keeping that Clear Skies just in case we are a weather deck. That is not terribly exciting, so certainly okay, and quite vulnerable to rain actually, but we don't have that right now. I'm perfectly happy with it, with a Commander's Horn for 10 here. And then we'll see what happens. He might Dimeritium Bomb us. That will only give him only an advantage of 10, it seems. Not sure about this. We could tie actually, which is certainly not great for him. I wouldn't mind a tie, to be honest. We could Avalach and then see what he does, maybe give up this round. Or if he plays into it, we could Caretaker something. That's not going to be terribly exciting. I'm pretty happy with a tie, to be honest, and if he wants to commit 1 more card, then that's fine with me. We'll have a look, see what's going on. Avalach is going to be pretty good if he's running low on cards, I feel. Alright, using Elzar's Thunder is probably correct here, because that leaves out the possibility of me surviving with a 10 strength unit on the board, which would be quite a blow for our opponent, so I can respect that play. And he did win the round with it, although he is 1 card behind in the card advantage game, as well as we already have a minion on the field right now, plus he needs to start, so not feeling too horrible here, but all these weather immune units make stuff a little more awkward than they need it to be, unfortunately. Now let's go with... Do we want to go with Avalach here? We do need to win this round. Could leave it for the last round. Maybe he's going to pass early, actually. Which would be a really good opportunity for us to then use Avalach to our advantage. I'm not quite sure. We could just drown her, although that's very unimpressive. Let's look at his graveyard. We could reanimate one of his longships, which is not awful. I'm tempted to actually do just that. How about we just reanimate his longship and see if we can take this round that way. I think that's fine. He hasn't shown any indication of running skirmishers or anything. There's usually some pretty impressive stuff to reanimate from a Skellige opponent, but that's not really looking to happen right now. So let's see what he wants to commit for now. I'm pretty happy with this longship personally. Another longship for him. Well, we can't pass here. But what we can do is just play a Drowner and see what happens. That makes his hero power deal 3 and 2 and 2. And then another 2. That means his faction ability inflicts 9 damage, which is a bit more than I would care to lose right now. Perhaps we should just lacerate his siege row. Gives us a 6 strength lead, and his faction ability only deals 7 damage now.
We serve her who is virgin, mother, and crone.
Although that lacerate looks a lot juicier with the skull being reanimated, of course. It is a pretty decent card, but can we recoup that in one fell swoop? No, we can't. We'll have to hope that Avalach is any decent here. Because playing a Drowner is not really an option. He's really vulnerable to rain, so perhaps we can draw into that.
It's time.
Let's see if we can draw into a rain or perhaps even a witch. That would be nice. Oh, this is actually not awful. The fiend does combine with the Thunderbolt potion, so I'm liking that. I'm expecting him to pass here, basically. Or oh wow, okay, so decoys that one. That is rather nice, but we can grab the advantage with a fiend, so that's mightily convenient. Just barely edging him out here. I'm not really committing too much into his faction ability, which is really good.
Mother and crone.
Another pretty good Scald. It's really unfortunate that I didn't get a rain, because rain would be pretty sweet here. So unfortunate. Let's see. He's got a 14. We've got an 8 Thunderbolt potion, and then, well, we have to play the Thunderbolts plus the double Drowner. That's really sucky. There were a lot of good answers in our deck, but it's not meant to be right now, unfortunately. So I think we basically just lost if he commits here. Because the Frost is going to be useless, and the Drowners aren't going to do enough. So that is game, and unfortunately, we could have done decently there, but the cards just weren't doing what they were supposed to, and that happens sometimes. I think we had a decent chance there if Avalach gave us basically anything better than what we had. Maybe we shouldn't have used the lacerate in that case. If we saved the lacerate until a later point, then we could have gotten more value out of that. Maybe drawn our cards earlier. That could have been the right call, but a Skellige opponent going for the first 2 round wins is kind of strange. That was a curious deck, anyway. So, for our next opponent, we're up against Foltest. I think I'm liking this Caretaker, just to disrupt his plans a little bit. And then double Drowner seems like a bit much, so let's go with... I'm actually kind of liking the Rain, dropping the first light here. And I'm guessing the other first light, we don't have a Wild Hunt Raider, so that's pretty safe. I'm liking life here. Sure. And we get to start, and I don't hate just starting with a fiend. That leaves the option open of us just starting with a couple of big dudes, and then managing to save them over for the next round, which is nice. I'm liking that. Going with the Manticore here, I think. Don't want to go all in on one row, although that might actually be an option if we go with Eredin here. I also don't hate that. It might be committing a bit much, but if he passes, then I think I'm in a pretty good position regardless. So, yeah, let's go with Eredin and see what he does.
This is no time to whimper.
Reaver Hunter's always a bit dangerous, but we could move that into the siege row, which would make it a little less efficient if we later choose to put a rain down there. That is a disadvantage of the Manticore, of course. It's being susceptible to the rain we play ourselves, so that's a bit dangerous. This deck is far from ideal if you didn't realize that yet. Maybe just kill the Reaver Hunter. A little hesitant to do that. We could just go with a Drowner and then perhaps do some raining afterwards. I think I like that. The Drowner, of course, being a little weaker than the other minions we have here, but being able to nuke the Reaver Hunter down in case he gets buffed, I think that's nice enough. So let's see what our opponent's up to here. I don't want to commit too much more, but it seems like he's going in on the siege row, which I like. Makes me not hate the rain so much. I think we can commit to a rain on this turn. Although I am a little hesitant to commit too much since my opponent seems to be very conservative right now. But this seems okay. Let's just let the rain fall down and then we'll see what happens afterwards. Reaver Hunter still gets some meaningful buffs out, although it's far less impressive than it could have been, of course. This seems like a decent Elser's Thunder target, and I think it's a pass after that. Both for our opponent and for us, but we'll see what happens. That one gets buffed, of course, gets boosted by the Northern Realms faction ability. And he'll have to commit a lot to crawl back here.
You must sweat like a swine in that jacket.
Or just commit some meaningful synergies, which I am not terribly upset about. Anything meaningful in his graveyard? Not anymore. I could have stolen the Reaver Hunter, but for us it's not that particularly impressive, of course. He's 9 points behind. The Reaver Hunter needs 2 more turns to take over. I think I'm fine with passing here. I don't see him committing 9 more power within 1 turn, so... And even if he commits only 1 card to that, I think I'm reasonably okay with it. We have a 2 and 3 of getting a pretty big dude for next turn. I guess actually if he commits just 1 card, then he gets the additional Reaver Hunter. So maybe I should have played 1 more card here. It could be true. But I'm pretty happy with this. He gets the last Reaver Hunter, and then that is actually fine. That is way more than was needed. We didn't overcommit here. And we get to keep at the very least a 5 until next turn, which is fine. Another Adrenaline Rush, wow. So we might even want to Scorch on the first turn, perhaps? I'm not sure whether that's correct. Probably not, actually. So let's see what we get to keep. A little unfortunate for the monster faction, of course, is the randomness inherent in its faction ability. So that can lead to some pretty sour situations sometimes, which, well, sometimes it sucks, sometimes it just wins you the game, but most of the time it can be played around to a reasonable extent, I feel. He needs to start here, which is good for us. Buffs up the other units by just a little bit. I think I'm fine with using a Scorch here, and then we probably want to aim for a Wildland Rider plus Thunderbolt Potion combination. Also, let's keep in mind that we can reanimate Seeley here, which is a very reasonable card. That is probably the strongest thing in his graveyard right now, so I'm liking that. Let's go for the Scorch. We are 2 cards ahead right now, so we should aim to win this round in as few cards as possible to just retain our our lead as much as possible. Can we? We cannot kill that, so if he adrenaline rushes, we could be in a bit of a pickle, unfortunately. But we'll see about that later. We do have a lot of card advantage right now, so I'm not incredibly worried as long as he doesn't lacerate us here. So let's go with that. Ice Giant will have to wait. I'm not sure if it's even the right call in our deck, but I do I did want to just try it out, basically. We need 13 points, so we could go with Sile, actually. And perhaps just bring down the Reaver Hunter by a little bit, which I like. Let's go and take a look at his graveyard just to make sure we're not missing anything important. Could actually just grab the Chort. Is that a Chort? A Chort? A Chort? I'm not really sure. Let's just go with the Thunderbolt Potion first, while they are still alive, and then see where it goes from there. He can Scorch us, he can Igni us. That is an inherent risk with
we're broke as shit peddlers.
with using the Thunderbolt on the Wild Hunt Riders, unfortunately. Only needing a difference of 12 right now, so I guess Caretaker can do some work. I think I'm okay with that. We can also Commander's Horn afterwards. I would like to get something in the melee row, but he doesn't really have anything worthwhile to steal for us, I think. So let's go with Caretaker. Take a quick look whether there's anything worthwhile in the melee. We could actually play the Court in the melee row to protect. Did he use a Scorch? He hasn't used a Scorch yet. In that case, it might be more worthwhile to place it in the melee row here. Mostly to protect us from Scorch, but also to gain some Commander's Horn value in case our opponent also has one.
Onward!
Although I guess with... maybe I should have just brought that one down a peg. I have an inking feeling that his last card might be a Commander's Horn, in which case we may wish to Commander's Horn ourselves. Even if he has a Scorch, then we're actually fine. And if this is not a Commander's Horn, then, well, sue me, I guess. But I do think we can actually still win if it is. And it isn't, so that's good. We can easily pass here and get a pretty meaningful unit for the next round, so I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what his last card is. So we got a pretty good deal here, and should go into an easy win, unless he has something incredibly miraculous over there. Which I'm certainly not expecting. We can even keep Avalak until after he's passed. Or he's just giving up. Well, in that case, let's not bother him with the rest of our hand. I think he pretty much knows where that went wrong. Alright, we've got some pretty good value in our deck. Let's not forget about that. There are some disappointing cards, and there have been matches today even where my last few top decks were just random weather cards, and I think a Thunderbolt Potion and maybe a Scorch or something, and I was just like, well, these three cards do nothing, so I have as much card advantage as I would like, but all these cards, they just do nothing on the current board, so that's a little annoying sometimes. But that's the way a card game goes, unfortunately. And if you let a match go to the very last top deck, then sometimes you're just going to end up disappointed, and that's the way it is. You have to take that risk sometimes, but you have to do that knowing that you could just break and have nothing to do for the final round, and that's not the best feeling in the world. So against weather, I'm liking the Ice Giant because our opponent is actually likely to play the Frost for us, which is really neat. One Wild Hunt Rider, let's maybe even makes us consider not using all of our mulligans. So there's a thought. The Thunderbolt Potion is actually reasonable. Scorch may be hard to use. Let's just mulligan both of the Fiends away. And I'm not the biggest fan of Commander's Horn against weather decks, because you'll usually end up pretty disappointed. I think I'm actually keeping it here though, because we could use it on the Wild Hunt Riders. which could end up to be pretty nice after all. We do not have any reasonable scorch protection, so let's be careful with that. But starting out with the Wild Hunt Riders, I think is okay. Let's just be careful before we Thunderbolt them to make sure there's something bigger on the board first. There will be something bigger on the board, so no problem with that. We can safely Thunderbolt them next turn, unless this ends up being a 6, which would surprise me, to be honest. There we go, a 10 is fine with me, might even be a viable Scorch target, but we'll think about that later. That Toad is not immune to rain, is it? It is not. Not incredibly relevant right now, but if he keeps it until next round, then that should definitely be something worth keeping in mind. Thunderbolt Potion, definitely okay here. He can't Scorch us because that would just kill his own frog, so I'm pretty happy with that. And he's using Fog, but does not include Foglets. That's an interesting decision. It is a trend that I've noticed in certain decks as of late, but still rather surprising. If he ignites us, then we're pretty sad, but we may just... Well, we're already overcommitting, right? So maybe just using Elser's Thunder on that. That would open us up to Scorch, though, so I'm not sure I like that. I could go with the Ice Giant, which makes the Igni even more painful, but could be the right choice. Actually, if we don't want to overcommit, then Avalach is a pretty nice choice, so let's just go with that for now. Might make our opponent more inclined to commit to the board, which is definitely okay. We can still Scorch him, so that's fine. Let's see what comes up here. I'm seeing a pretty good Scorch here. I'm not going to feel sad about that, and if he doesn't play anything else, then he doesn't even keep anything on the board until the next turn, so that's really good. And that is the inherent risk. He could Scorch us right back, of course, but in that case I won't be too sad about just playing the Ice Giant, I guess. Ice Giant sounds reasonable. If he doesn't have Scorch, then that's also fine. I think I want to also Thunder that, don't I? That is a pretty good target for it. It's pretty much the best target you're going to get against the usual monster opponent, so I'm pretty okay with this, yeah. Could also be used on a 7 strength monster to bring it down to 1, which could be valuable, of course. What's he going to do here? He's going to rally, alright. That's definitely viable. Not terribly exciting. I bet he was hoping for something better. And I'm not too sad about passing here. I mean, we are 1 card up, and if he uses 1 card to grab the advantage here, would I be okay with that? I think I would be. I think I would be okay with that. The Commander's Horde is kind of looking worse, though, so that is something to consider. Because we won't have that much strength on the melee row anymore. I think he would have Scorched if he had one, so let's just go for it. We don't have to go for it right now, do we? How about we play Eredin and see if he wants to commit more? Actually, let's just pass. See whether he wants to commit another card. He can't Scorch us anymore and leave us with nothing for the next round, so that's good. He'll have to commit 1 more card to win this round, and then we are 2 cards ahead for the last 2, which leaves me reasonably confident that we're able to win it. So
let's get this over with.
That is okay. I was hoping he didn't have that, because that's a rather easy way to grab around it. In other news, at least he only gets to keep a 5, and we are getting to keep something better. So that is still okay with me. Okay, and with the Water Hag, I think our Drowners could definitely do some work this round. And that also means that our Wild Hunt Warriors will have something to target, so... Oh my. We are going to have some targets, alright. We haven't shown them any Drowners yet, so we might as well wait until the last Witch appears, which has to be in his hand. Or is not in his deck at all, but that would be odd. I just noticed how the art on the small cards is different from the art on the big cards. The cauldron is actually missing. I didn't notice that before. Anyway, it's not going to be that great. I guess we can play Arid here and try to blow him out if he plays the last. If he plays the last crone, which I can't imagine is going to be the case soon. Uses Frost, so that makes the Frost Giant an alluring prospect. I think I like that. That brings the score to being even, which is actually pretty good. I'm just trying to get him to use the last crone so we can blow him out with the rain. Although he might just clear the weather then, and we'll be sad. If we wait until he clears the weather, then we might end up being really sad. I guess maybe we shouldn't. In each case, he played the Frost for us, so let's play the Frost Giant, and then we'll see about the sadness ensuing when he clears the weather. No, he might actually not. He might not expect us to run any strange weather cards. Let's see, what do we need to commit to even up the board? We could actually just swipe here. That's pretty nice. It's a 10-point swing. We're not getting a better Lacerate, I think. So this is pretty good in my book. Another one of those. Definitely not too exciting. And if he was planning on clearing the weather, this is certainly not the best choice to target here, because well, it might still lose 7 strength and end up at 5. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest. I think we can go with the Drowner now, and maybe even we could just Commander's Horn, couldn't we? I'm just hoping he commits one of the Witches, but if we play one of the Drowners, then it's going to be pretty obvious what our intentions are. I guess that's just something we have to take. Let's move this one to the siege row, and then it should be pretty obvious as to what we're planning. So we might just pass here, but that's probably fine with us, right? We're 2 cards ahead. We're pretty much safe to win the last round. Okay, and here comes the blowout. So second Drowner, moving the Frost Giant to the siege row, and then. So the last Witch is in his hand, alright. And let's go with the Water Hag, and that should be enough. These warriors are going to be a little sad for next round, but yeah, I'm expecting him to pass here. Or to clear weather, if he has that. That would be a smart keep for him, but not sure whether he saw that coming. He has one Witch in his hand. So his last card has to be Clear Skies in that case. Oh, I'm calling them Witches, but they're Crones. I'm sorry. So he has the last Crone, which is just a 1, and then his final card will be Adrenaline Rush. That's an interesting one. Well, I guess we'll just kill that then, because that gets to be a 7 for next round. This is pretty over. This game is over. There's no way he's winning this, unless his last card is absolutely miraculous. I'm not seeing that being a thing for next round. So the best thing he's going to keep is he can actually keep a Witch, because I didn't kill any of them, but that is pretty crushing still. So any last words for our opponent? None of those. Alright, well played, sir. Let's give it one more game, shall we? I'm not planning on filling this bar any all the way for today. I've already played a lot of games with this deck, but we seem to be doing nicely. And we haven't really had any blowouts with the Caretaker, but I suppose it will be fine against actual resurrection-focused decks. Stealing another medic is going to feel pretty good, I imagine. Did we miss out on stealing any medics? We may have, actually. Did he, or did he not play any medics so far? Maybe I wasn't paying attention for that one. That would be quite awful. So up against the Skellige deck, so definitely mulliganing for Caretaker. I'm not too excited by 2 Wild Hunt Warriors, so let's throw one of those away. Frost is going to be pretty good, I think. And Rain is a little disappointing. There's the Caretaker, so that's a good one. Throwing away a Fiend, perhaps. We do have a Water Hag, so Drowners are pretty good. I kind of don't want to draw a Wild Hunt Rider with this. So maybe we just keep the 2 Fiends, or just take the risk. Let's just take the risk and not draw a Wild Hunt Rider, and then everything will be okay. That is an interesting card. That is definitely an interesting card I did not expect. What do we do about that? That is an interesting thing, indeed. I don't mind going with Avalach here.
It's time.
This may mean we have to concede the first round, but, well, of course, drawing 2 cards is not going to be incredible with a Bork on the board, but playing against Bork is so awkward. It's always awkward. So, in case you didn't know, Bork, in 2 turns, will destroy the 2 strongest, well, the strongest units on the board twice in a row. So this is quite the imposing board on our opponent's side. We may have to actually just concede this round, because I can't really see any real way in which we're crawling back from this one. We're also not getting to keep any units for the next round, unfortunately. We could actually Biting Frost here and see what we can do. But a difference of 28 will be pretty rough to make up for. And we still have to play 2 more cards, so let's imagine we play Wild Hunt Riders and then perhaps a Drowner or something. Make our opponent commit 1 more card. I think I'm just passing here. There's no point in continuing. We give him the first round and we try to crawl back on the following turns. At least it's not a Northern Realms deck that aims to just reanimate Bork over and over again. I think I'm reasonably okay with this. We've got quite the stacked hand to deal with our opposing board now, so I'm actually okay with that. Shall we answer the Skirmisher with a Fiend? I think I like that. We can always move him to the Siege Row, but that's not something we should be too worried about as of yet. This Caretaker is going to be pretty sweet for animating that Skirmisher, I feel. I kind of want to kill that. That is a dangerous card. We could also Frost here. That makes our Fiend a little awkward, I will admit. So that just means we have to play our Frost immune, our non-Frost immune units in this round, I think. So how about, we're not intending to clear any weather against the Skellige opponent, so how about we just rally first and see what we get. Well, that does shine a light on whatever we have in our hand, because that should have brought out the other Wild Hunt Riders, so our opponent pretty much knows about 2 cards in our hand right now. But that's okay. Let's just have his Savage Bear wound the units he's playing right now. And then we may wish to Ulcer's Thunder it afterwards. That rally was really awkward. We probably should have played the Wild Hunt Riders first, but they get double dipped by the Savage Bears, which is a little awkward, unfortunately. So what do we do about this? Let's think for a bit. Frost still doesn't look too awful. We might get our opponent to Scorch us, actually, so that could be nice. If he Scorches the Fiend, I'll be pretty happy with that. Let's also Thunder the Bear and see if he wants to reanimate it. If we can make him spend a reanimate on a bear, then that's going to be pretty good for us, I feel. Alright, we need to make up 10 points worth of stats right here. So we can't play units with too little value, I think. Otherwise It's going to be too hard to catch up. I kind of want to just play a Drowner here and see where we go from there. Then we can reanimate one of his skirmishers later. I'm kind of okay with that. Also reduces the risk of our opponent using Commander's Horn. Actually, if he uses Commander's Horn, we could just frost him, so it's not too awful. That is certainly interesting. Hjalmar. Does that mean there's a Kami incoming or something? I really don't know what to think of this deck that our opponent's playing here. That could be a pretty big dude, though, so we may actually wish to Commander's Horn here, to protect the Lord of Untitled a little bit. I don't hate that. I don't hate that one bit. Is there anything else we wish to play on the melee row before we Commander's Horn? There certainly is. How much risk can we take with that, though? If he kills it right now, with what would he kill it? I actually like just Commander's Horning right now, so he can't use an Ulcer's Thunder to kill the Lord of Unfake right now. I kind of like defending that guy a little bit. Also makes it a little more likely that our opponent is going to scorch our Fiend here, which means we can then use Frost to decimate his melee row. There's a lot of interesting interactions here. I'm liking this game for so far. Let's Water Hag and start working on his siege row. I think I like that idea. And we can also Igneous melee row at some later point, which I like. Actually, we only need a very small number to catch the lead, so let's just play a Wild Hunt Rider here. And see what our opponent plays first.
I fear nothing.
That is another really interesting card. Let's see if I remember what this does. So he deals 3 damage to himself, 3 damage to our strongest unit, and then when he revives, everything on his row played afterwards will get boosted. So do we wish to kill him now? We may wish to kill him. We could move him to the siege row and then kill him, I suppose. Let's go Water Hag first and then see what happens. I think I'm liking that plan. Yes. So let's see what our opponent's answer is here. Alright, a Lacerate was to be expected. He still can't kill the Lord of Unfik efficiently, so I'm liking that. And we can Frost if he chooses to use his faction ability, which is nice. Yeah, I'm liking this. So let's play Wild Hunt Warrior here, or just play a little card and see what happens with that. This is enough to take the lead again, which means it's fine. Adrenaline rushes that one, so he could just Igni to get rid of it, which is a little strange, but it does work. Or perhaps he's just playing the smallest card possible. That also works. I would really like to reanimate one of those guys. I think Igni is fine because it will be really hard to use it efficiently next round. So Igni kills the skirmisher right now. That's pretty good. And let's see what our opponent's answer is going to be. He needs 13 points to catch the lead here. I think he's just going to pass. Now this 1 strength Wild Hunt Rider is going to be a little awkward for next turn, but I'm passing anyway and just hoping I'm getting something better. I shouldn't have called it. I should not have called it. Unfortunate. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Well, we can still do some stuff with Frost, right? We can actually kill this dude, which I definitely do not hate. We can just start out with the Frost, and then his faction ability will also be quite sad. I think I'm liking that. Oh, his faction ability does get buffed by the Craven Revived, so I should probably wait a little bit with that. Start with a Caretaker in that case. Does he have anything better than a Skirmisher in his graveyard? He does not, right? There's nothing more exciting than a Skirmisher. I guess I could play a Skjold, but that's a bit too cute, I feel. Let's start with Eridan and see what happens.
Shall die worm.
There's nothing with amazing priority. We need to immediately reanimate, I
Morgan
think.
Freyr is patient, but she brooks no insult.
Oh, I thought there were 2 skirmishers in there. It's not showing the entire graveyard, so that's fine. So we should probably... Maybe we should have just killed the skull, but we can set his entire melee row to 1 with the frost, so that is entirely fine. Let's play the caretaker, take his other skirmisher. Before he reanimates that too. This is not immune to frost, unfortunately, but he does get a nice buff on his melee row. We can just wait here. Anything we do not want to get buffed, we can move Skjold to the siege row, which is probably a little too cute, right? Yeah. We do not wish to clear any weather, so might as well just rally here and see what we get.
Death comes for you.
Oh, that is not incredibly helpful. I guess we'll just ping 1 damage to that one. Might telegraph our intentions, but there's not much our opponent can do about this frost that's coming up, I feel. Let's just wait for the last card to happen first, and then we'll just decimate him. And things will be fine. Move that one to the siege row. I don't want to give him additional buffs on the siege row. That might just let him reanimate a longship or something. So we play frost, and that should be game. Alright, so that is weather, and that was a rather decent score, in contrast to what I've played today, but it might just feel worse than what it actually was. This deck has been doing rather nice for me. I would recommend just the addition of a few key cards that are basically auto-includes in any Skellige deck. So if I were to recommend you to play this deck, first of all, don't bother with the fancy legendaries just of yet. The thing you most want to craft first if you're playing a monster deck would be, first of all, Woodland Spirit, which probably leads you into a build with Foglets and the whole shebang. And secondly, Caronthier over here. These 2 are basically the must-haves for any weather deck. Also, you're not starting out with a 3rd Wild Hunt Rider, and that would probably be recommended for you to craft one of them. You could also wait until you open one from your randomly generated boosters, but that could take quite a long time. So 3rd Wild Hunt Rider, probably pretty essential. Caronthier, Woodland Spirit. And then you've pretty much got a decent functional monster deck. And, well, with that, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching as always. Have a great day, and I will see you again soon.